Alright, here we are. We're just getting ready to leave Indiana and head into the beautiful state of Kentucky, where we're going to be stumbling the Bourbon Trail featuring myself, Jeff Riggs.
American Gypsy.
American Gypsy.
We're going to go and visit Jim Beam and a few other things. We're going to go to Churchill Downs, to the museum there where they run the Kentucky Derby. And just generally, as the man said, stumble around.
Stumble the Bourbon Trail. We got the maybe Woodford, Maker's Mark, Jim Beam, and possibly even Wild Turkey. I think they're all around the Bardsville area. Time permitting and legal consumption of the legal amount of alcohol permitting.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
We'll take the video camera along.
Yeah.
All right, as we leave on October 3, Monday, October 3, the fine state of Indiana, we're now into Kentucky. There's the Ohio River, and that is Louisville, Kentucky.
Very pretty it looks too.
And we're on the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Expressway.
Just for a change.
We're still on it. We've been on it all over America. And we're looking for Churchill Downs. Well, we found it.
Come on into the gift shop. Let's buy a horse. Hey chaps, come on down to the Kentucky Derby.
We're going to eat before we do a little tour out onto the track. I can't go past the Secretariat Turkey Club. All the stuff's named after winners of the Kentucky.
The Reuben.
Reuben.
Good.
Oh, nice.
Corned beef.
Oh, nice. Very good.
BLT, toasted.
Excellent. And the Secretariat Club is excellent. Everyone is very pleased with their selections. Tasty. It's real old school, that's for sure.
They're booked 5 to 9 years in advance.
Bullitt County, Kentucky, home of Claremont, Kentucky, which is the home of
Beam Distillery. I just left my water in the car, in the Blue Pig that is, after getting adequately hydrated so that we can get down to business. At one point in my life, I probably drank enough Jim Beam to float a small boat. Serious.
You can smell it, you can smell it. That's just a replay of what we said all those years ago.
Cheers.
You're 86 proof because it's 100 proof. It has more alcohol content to it. It means we use less water to cut this one down. Second, we're going to nose our bourbon. Press to your nose, part your lips, and breathe in. You're gonna get a sweeter, mellow flavor with this bourbon. Okay? There's more alcohol in there, but you smell the sweetness.
I want to be 100
You
proof.
check out the recipe. This is our mash bill. All of our recipes are different between all of our bourbons except for black and white. Look at the amount of corn used in this recipe. That's where the sweet, mellow flavor you're going to get will come from. All right? Third is the best part. Cheers.
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 It is much smoother.
Oh, yeah.
I found that the bourbons that age longer taste smoother.
Smoother.
Absolutely.
This is awesome.
Mine didn't last as long as that.
I love Knob Creek.
The Jack Daniels tour that we did all those years ago was outstanding. The difference was that you couldn't drink at the end of the tour because alcohol consumption in Moore County in Tennessee is illegal. So they gave you lemonade, Jack Daniels lemonade. I'm going to share this with Mr. Jeff Riggs because we got given a bonus one.
Cheers.
Cheers, baby.
Cheers.
Cheers, baby.
Cheers.
No. I used to drink bourbon on whatever.
Nice. classic stuff. This is Bardstown in Nelson County. It's about 13 miles from the Jim Beam distillery. Self-proclaimed bourbon capital of the world. Well, we know we're in bourbon land because of the warehouses. Now, tell us the story
Well, apparently,
as to why they look so shit.
as it's going through the fermenting process, making the alcohol, it gives off this a fume that creates a mold. They called it a fungus or a mold on the outside of all the buildings, and even the vegetation is even black. And it's called angel share, not angel dust.
This is what they told us at Jim Beam.
At Jim Beam.
So we knew there's thousands and thousands of barrels of bourbon in those warehouses because yeah, you can tell. There's no way you'd have them look that bad on purpose. Yeah, they needed to paint them black, didn't they? Look how many's down there. They just go. These warehouses go for ages.
Oh yeah.
Now I'll be honest, I've never heard of Heaven Hill until we went to Atlanta and I bought a 2-litre bottle for about $20.
Obviously real high quality stuff.
I enjoyed it.
And that's why Jack Daniels is a Tennessee whiskey, because they filter their whiskey through a charcoal, maple flavored charcoal. And the addition of that maple flavoring prevents their whiskey from being called bourbon. Now you'll notice I'm trying to be very careful about the use of alcohol, whiskey, and bourbon. I shouldn't refer to it as bourbon until after it's come out of the barrel. Okay? When it goes into the barrel, it's white dog, it's raw alcohol. You could call it whiskey. But whiskey becomes bourbon inside the barrel. Okay? It all happens in the barrel. Okay, folks. 16 barrels, 16 barrels, 16 barrels.
48.
Uh-oh, who said that?
Me.
Okay, got an interesting accent there. So
Yes,
I'm going
well,
to say,
it's not from these parts. That's for
I'm
sure.
going to say, you sound like an Aussie.
Yeah.
You could be a New Zealander.
No.
Okay. Now you have to realize that South Africans have somewhat the same brogue in there, right? But you're
yeah.
Australian.
I'm never going to admit to that.
We're not going into
No.
Okay.
I can do a South African accent for you and I can demonstrate for you.
Okay, that's good. 48 barrels, right?
Yeah.
There are 60 of these ricks on this floor. 48 times 60, you don't have to figure it out because I don't know either. All right? You can say anything, I think that's right. All right, now, there are 7 floors. So how many barrels are in this building? 48 times 60 times 7. A whole lot, right? Somewhere around 20,000. We've got some buildings that have 8 floors, so that's raising the total. And folks, we have 49 of these buildings, these warehouses. You know, I didn't call it a rick house, I didn't call it a wreck house, I called it a warehouse, all right? So, we have approximately 1 million barrels. We are now bottling about 83 different bourbons. Anytime we need to gather barrels together to fill those bottles, somewhere in those warehouses are the right barrels that we will use for that one bourbon. You pick up both those glasses, gently swirling them. You may be interested, after you swirl, you're going to see a line of alcohol that forms on the side of the glass. If this were wine, what would you call that?
Fingers.
Well, legs, fingers. Where are you from, sir?
Indiana.
I've never heard of fingers before, but it makes sense. It makes sense. Okay. All right. Now, if you want to finish up both of your glasses, I'm going to tell you a few things here. You can buy both these bourbons at our gift shop. If you went to the close, yes, ma'am. Oh, it's all right. If you
What we have here is a nosing glass, and you and I were drinking out of the other evening when I shared my single barrel numbered Willet bourbon.
Yep.
It's designed to be wider at the bottom, a little more narrow at the top, to let the bouquet open up, so you can get your nose down in there and get the full bouquet. And
I got you doing that on film in there in the tasting,
right. And but in some of the glasses, this one isn't as defined or profound, and in some of them where they come out just a little bit more, where it lands on your lip, the actual drink bypasses the tip of your tongue and lands a little bit more in the softer center of your tongue. That opens the raises it to the upper
So a
palate.
different portion of the taste buds and everything.
And just distributes it for a wider experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
I take my alcoholism very seriously. This is the bourbon or Scotch glass that I prefer, to have my evening drink with. Occasionally I'll have two. But now I'm thinking, since I'm here and I've had an opportunity to see it and possibly purchase it, that I should invest in this one here. And then I could just tell Laura, this I'll only have one this evening.
Yeah.
Just one, that should really do.
What is it, a 3 litre?
At least.
We're doing a bourbon trail just now, and I must say the name Heaven Hill, which is the one where we're at, I didn't recognise it when I saw the name. We went inside, and the first thing they show was the Evan Williams bottle. And I thought, oh my goodness, how many of them have I seen in our recycling bin? And I thought, that's it.
This is the responsible party.
Guilty as charged.
Study.
I've taught Riggs. He's now giving me directions at roundabouts. In at 6, out at 12. Nice one.
Because I'm the bullshit.
That's it.
I wonder about the old Talbot Tavern there.
Well, look at that.
Oh, isn't it?
Is that where you want to stay?
No, well, we want to have a drink.
Well, we've got ourselves some digs at the Best Western, Bardstown, Kentucky.
Just checking out my passport here. I want to make sure everything's legal. I don't need to be getting deported.
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Do we need to have a drink before we go chow?
It'd be rude not to.
I highly recommend it.
Well, in that case, being that you're the man.
As your American Gypsy sponsor, I recommend it. So let me see if I can't spoon us up a sip.
Okay, Riggs, I'll go with that. Look what you found.
Oh, look at here. A beautiful Kentucky straight bourbon. Small batch, aged 9 years. My personal favorite.
Yeah.
Creek.
Yeah. Well, that one we tasted, that Elijah Craig we tasted was pretty spectacular. But you did like the 10-year Evan Williams.
I did. I mean, it's the 18. I mean, there's no mistaking that it was better. But as a matter of what I like and let's just say I can lay down $32 for a bottle that might actually get drank in one setting occasionally, as opposed to nearly 60, I think it was. Here, this is one of the most beautiful sounds in the world. Oh man, delicious. Ambrosia, nectar of the gods.
That's it. And we're going to do another 5 distilleries tomorrow. Thank you, American Gypsy.
Bet. Cheers. even out of a cheap-ass plastic Best Western cup. This is delicious.
It is. That was my reaction.
I enjoy the smell.
I can tell.
Of course I have to drink it, but god damn, it's good.
What's the go there with passport?
Well, we got our passports, and I grabbed two, so...
What are they?
Oh, it's for the Bourbon Trail. And as we go from each distillery, so we started out at Jim Beam, which you can see here. I've got my stamp, my sticker, and then here at Heaven Hill, it's they've got their stamp. So tomorrow we've got to make the Four Roses, the Maker's Mark, the Wild Turkey, and one of my probably second favorite is the Woodford Reserve.
Nice one. Nice
So
one.
I'm excited. I'm glad that we jettisoned the Mammoth Cave for this. I have no idea what I was thinking in the first
You wanted to
place.
see a natural wonder when you can go to bourbon distilleries? Yeah, no, that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's warm enough to go for a swim, even though it's October. This is the front of the Best Western, Bardesville. No, it's not. It's Bardstown,
Bardstown.
Kentucky.
What we have in Kentucky and a lot of places is they're always attempting to label it historic for one reason or another. There's generally three classifications. Either someone of significance lived there, or something of significance occurred there, or it was one of its more original or first of its kind in type, build, or architecture. And for a period of time, well, here you go. Here's one right here. I mean, literally. That when you see this type of sign almost anywhere across the country, it's indicating some
Well, the Germans
6 o'clock.
holy smoly, I haven't never heard that before.
A lot of towns do that at like noon on a Friday just to test the, like if there was a tornado or
Well, I'm scared.
something civil,
Yeah.
warning, that's how they let the community know that it's the warning sign. So they must know that it's 6 o'clock, which
It is.
it is.
On October 3, 2011, a Monday.
So on a Monday at 6 o'clock, apparently
Yeah.
they ring that off. They ring that off.
Now this is something you don't see every day.
Right up out of it.
Carved out of a tree stump.
And painted.
The old stable. So we've ordered.
I tell you, I'm so hungry. I thought about just telling her to walk the cow out here. I'll cut off what I want and I'll just ride the rest home.
I'm hungry too, but Barbara's not. Look at that. She's having 2 cups of soup and a little salad. What do we got here?
Breaded mushrooms.
They're deep fried.
Yes.
Deep fried. Let's throw it away. Deep fried breaded mushrooms with some TI, Thousand Island dressing.
Excellent.
Well, you got your bread roll with your salad, not your soup. That's all right. That's a real big one too.
That's how they do it in Kentucky.
There must be a Kentucky thing. They don't have bread roll with their soup.
Hot bread roll with
And
salad.
that's Italian dressing.
And that's the first Italian recipe I've ever seen like that.
What's it taste like?
I haven't tried it.
Oh well. Jess got the big burger,
The baby Huey.
the baby Huey. It's a good Angus beef size burger, that is. Patty. And I've got the
They've got the cow
roast
out.
beef with the mashed potato and the macaroni and cheese. Ah, yes.
It is an Italian base.
Taste it?
With, yeah. It's got the tang of an Italian base, but it's got cream through it.
Hey, all right. Let's Kentucky and Italian.
Kentucky Italian.
Well, it was the smallest portion I've had the whole trip, which is all right. It's all I needed. And it was nothing. It was all right. It was good. Nothing out of the ordinary. What about your burger?
It's very good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Salad's good.
Okay.
It's October 3 today. And this is where we're going to find Jeff Riggs, American Gypsy.
Cut, there you go. The Elijah Craig 18-year-old. So we're going to try that tonight. Cheers.
And Riggs has got a Evan Williams Riggs.
Evan Williams, here. My sponsor,
How are you, champ?
my sponsor Keith.
I have some good friends from Australia.
That's good.
Already with us, well, I guess they were here back in November.
Right.
Yeah.
They party?
Yeah, it's always a party. It's always
That's it. That's all we do. I got myself the 18-year-old Elijah Craig as well.
cheers. There's a lot.
Cheers.
Keith's up from Dallas, Texas.
I've been to Dallas. You got to do it on the. You got to do it straight up when you're here. No bloody coke and this stuff.
Nothing, certainly not the water.
Yeah.
What'd you guys get?
Elijah Craig.
You got the 18-year-old Elijah Craig?
I'm going an old-fashioned Jesse with black beam. That's one there. That's white beam though. It's not mine.
That could work.
Lovely. Thank you. What do you reckon? What did you say before about when that could be used?
Well, just look at it. I mean, just laying there in that bed of ice, all muddled together with its fruity goodness, a little sugar and some bitters to even it all out. I mean, something like that deserves to be enjoyed in between that moment when you need a refreshment on a hot day, in between mowing the lawn. It's a good lawn mowing bourbon.
There's some kicking there, that's for sure. Cheers. So Riggs, what do you got in that one?
Oh, Basil Hayden.
Which is another beam.
Another beam, yeah. It was their kind of their top shelf.
Yeah.
They had one they tried to say it was like a dessert type of scotch that was very sweet.
Scotch, bourbon.
And then this one was supposed to be.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, yeah.
With their like to try it? Yeah. I disagree with them because I still think it's really.
It's quite different from that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, they're two different
companies.
distillers as well. I mean, that one's, you know, your Heaven Hill.
Everybody else, yeah. I still think they may be trying to appeal to the Scotch drinker and try to remove them in and move a bottle closer to the top of the shelf. Bully for them, you know that they're trying to do it. But it's still bourbon.
Yeah.
You know?
Keith just brought us around and we're drinking to the sharks of Western Australia.
From Mesquite, Texas.
From Mesquite, Texas, there you go.
Yeah. World famous Texas rodeo.
That's it. And you got some good barbecue down there too.
You know what? We love to kill cows. We know how to cook. You know, I almost equate Texas to Australia. You know,
Well, we do.
The roughnecks, you know, the rodeo. I mean,
Some of the country looks a bit the
my
same.
favorite musical artist, Keith Urban.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean,
Very talented man. Cheers.
Cheers, yeah.
And that's the Knob Creek, was it?
yeah,
Knob Creek. It's the same one you've got in your hotel room.
yeah. Ooh, I just picked this out. But that's more stout than any of the stuff that I've had this evening.
Well, Mr. Riggs here, that's his favourite. You picked out, yeah.
All right. Well,
My bourbon drink of choice.
all right. Team still got the lead. Good. Feeling good.
You got it by one run at the moment, have you?
3.
It's 4-3, isn't it? Yeah. There's a few. The American gypsies had a few bourbons.
I'm American tipsy.
This tavern has been operating for 200 years. So how would you sum the evening up?
Absolutely delicious. Good to the last drop, as a matter of fact.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Well, it's what is it? What is it, Riggs?
October 14.
October 4 even.
October 4. Woo! Drank myself into a time warp. At about 9:15, getting ready to roll after a really good evening last night. We're at the I still can't remember the name of the place. The old
Talbot.
the Talbot Tavern.
It wasn't that big a night, but yeah, go on.
Yeah.
We were back here by 10.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
But we definitely enjoyed our bourbons. We met our friend Keith, who consequently
Our
I
Texan.
suspected that there were going to possibly be problems. I noticed that his method of enjoying bourbon was a quick sniff, sip, and then down the gullet it went. My experience has been that very rarely works out well for anyone. And we were proven
Correct.
that was correct once again with Keith last night, that he came up missing for a bit when you went outside.
Yeah, I went outside
to take a look at the marquee,
The historical
marker, and found that Keith was resting peacefully out on the sidewalk.
That's right. We thought, oh, well, he bought us a couple of rounds. We couldn't just leave him there.
Right, yeah, he was, well, and he was a very enjoyable.
He was. That was the main reason, yeah.
Engaging fella, and so we rousted him around and helped him locate his vehicle. At which point, we gave what we thought were some pretty sound advice to not go ahead and drive it. There was a slight fuss, but I think he came around rather quickly and decided to walk back to the lovely Best Western here with us and take up lodging for the evening. And
He hadn't actually booked into a room at that point. He just arrived at the pub in the afternoon, started drinking, and that was it.
right,
Nice guy though.
Very
All's
nice
well
guy.
that ends well, Jeff.
yeah, and we got him back here safely. Oh, and by the way, he was washing his bourbons back with a nice stout glass of Guinness.
That'll do it.
Evening of champions.
There's BB. We're just checking out. As I was saying before, it's a beautiful morning in Kentucky. And we're on our way to, what else do you do at 9:35 on a Tuesday morning but drive to a bourbon distillery?
We're on the Bourbon Trail.
Well, we needed to fill her up. And how could you drive past that sign?
64 cents a gallon. I'll take it all.
Yeah, this place hasn't been open for a while.
Probably think these goddamn New Yorkers are just out here trying to fill up with gasoline.
for 65 cents a gallon.
Goddamn New Yorkers.
We've been lucky with the weather. It ain't exactly raining. Not far from the distillery. Look at that, beautiful. The sunlight makes it look cool. The old grist mill distillery, now known as Maker's Mark. You mentioned before that here we are in the south. Now that's a subjective statement, isn't it? In that, in my experience, this is either the start of the north or the start of the south.
Depending on which direction you're coming, yeah. We would regard it as the south, and I think a lot of the people even in Kentucky proper would regard themselves as part of the south.
Okay, well that's the most important bit.
But I also believe at the same time that they would regard the war between the North and the South as the Civil War, rather than the War of the Northern Aggression, which is like when you're in Alabama, Mississippi, and Georgia, they're in the deep South, that when the Civil War to them, they regard as the War of the Northern Aggression. They basically say, you guys packed a fight with us, and we were just trying to manage our own economics and our own agriculture. You came in and mucked it all up. Therefore, the War of the Northern Aggression.
And the other thing, in my experience, having travelled quite extensively now around the south and the north, is that even 150 years later, the hangover, for the want of a better expression, from the Civil War it still exists, and that blights people's view of the other still all these years later. Not to the detriment of all else, but an underlying sort of current of negativity towards the other.
There's a definite
us versus them.
There's a definite residue that's been left over. Large family units and plots of land and their own family economic system through agriculture and different levels of commerce and trade were completely bust up.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe even taken for the war effort, or as a matter of the end of the war was. 1851 Colt revolver given to Orr Sayers Samuels, July 25th, 1865, at Samuels Depot, Kentucky, by Frank James, on the occasion of his surrender, officially ending the American Civil War.
Classic. And that's one of those whiskey thieves.
Yeah.
That's
We're
what.
committed to two things. Making great bourbon and selling it the right way.
Making great bourbon and selling it the right way.
This is spooky.
I have dreams like this, where pictures talk to me out of the newspaper and off the walls. I'm serious.
I could only have
I couldn't
nightmares.
believe that.
And you're from Australia?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Indianapolis. Well, you're with these people.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
from-
I'm their chaperone.
You've almost picked up their accent.
No.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not. And you're from Australia.
Australia, yeah.
Okay. Now, 98% of the bourbon, come on out. That is distilled in the state of Kentucky. It doesn't have to be made here. It has to be made in the United States to be a bourbon. But the reason that so much of it is made here in Kentucky is that we sat on an underground limestone shelf. And Mother Nature filters the water down through that limestone shelf, giving us an iron-free limestone water that's very, very rich in calcium. Now, the calcium enhances the yeast, and it is most important that there be no iron in the water when you're making bourbon, because it can distort the color and the flavor. Actually turns it very, very dark.
You can smell it. You can smell it.
It smells great. I think it's what the entrance to heaven smells like.
Yes, so when they dry it, when they cook it, just enough not to affect the bourbon itself. Yeah. Very cool, very cool. Snap down the lid of the box and out to the truck. How did I know, Jeff, that we're going to get an opportunity to dip our own bottle and then purchase that bottle?
It's the American way, you know? let you do all the work and then make you pay for it.
The Angel Share hasn't been mentioned in this tour. They paint their warehouses black.
I suspect that they send covert spies, undercover spies to
Heaven Hill and places.
To go around and see what they're putting out there on their tours so that they can tailor-make theirs.
Oh, I see.
In a way that doesn't seem to repeat the others, so it stands out more, which is a very good tactic.
This is what goes into the barrel. This cannot be called a whiskey. It cannot be called a bourbon because it has not touched a barrel. Now, this is going into the barrel. It's going to be in there for about 6 years. It's going to come out and it's going to look like this. Okay, taste that. Hold it on your tongue for about 3 seconds, kind of roll it around in your mouth and then swallow. Smooth, great. Okay.
What?
Now,
It's all right, just
did you kind of get a tickling at the tip of your tongue?
I've got it in the nose and everything.
Stimulation in the front part of
And being first thing in the morning makes a difference.
Was the first one.
Get a little bit of tingling on the tip of the tongue.
It's the first thing in the morning.
You get the same basic taste.
We're about to taste the white before it's put in the barrel.
It's sweet.
At the distillery, it's not on the market. It's only sold here.
It's like it smells to me like a Croatian grappa.
Thank you for coming.
It's the yeast you can still smell.
No, she started her day off with a bang.
The yeast has got that.
It's unrefined. It's not got a polish on it at all. It's not. It's medicinal.
Yeah, it's not got the rounded flavour. It's lacking in flavour, but it's got a sweetness.
Have you tasted it, BB?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't looking through the camera.
Yeah, right. I did try it.
Yeah, but Martin Makers is the one that I accidentally discovered by leaving it on the heater. That like, changes the constitution by heating it up to just room temperature or above. It's excellent with a cigar. It's as if they were separated at birth.
I quite enjoyed that.
Like you and I, right?
That's it, Riggs. That's it.
That's it.
I found my shotty.
That's cool.
Isn't it?
I imagine it would come off in the wash after a period, though.
Yeah, well, it's purely for decorative display purposes. That's the white. What do they want for one of them? No.
I don't know. Whatever it is, it wouldn't be worth it.
No.
It wouldn't be worth it.
It was interesting. No, it wasn't as bad as we thought it might be.
No, but I think that was the quality of the Maker's Mark starters, because in the last 2 distillers we've been at, they've said you wouldn't want to drink that.
I've just purchased a little bottle of Maker's Mark. If it gets home, it'll be a miracle. Because they are quite weighty, and the other problem is it might break in the luggage. But as you can see, it's got no wax on it. We're about to change that right now. And 1895, by the way.
Where are you from?
Western Australia. So we're a long way from home.
You surely are.
Yeah.
You won't go home. You won't fly west to go home. You'll probably fly east.
Actually, we will be west, believe it or not, and we'll be west until it becomes east.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. That makes sense, I think.
I know what you mean. We go over the date line.
We get a lot of Australians here. A a lot.
Yeah, they've been telling me.
They like their bourbon.
It's the most popular spirit in Australia, actually.
Maker's Mark or just
No,
bourbon?
bourbon generally.
He's cooking.
Yeah, serious business.
Okay. First of all, I'm going to pull this little tab out because that's how you get into your bottle. You have to pull it around.
Oh, of course,
Yeah.
yes.
And,
I've actually opened quite a few of them in my time. So.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I hate to say this about Australians, but they pretty much open them going out the door.
Can relate to that.
Yeah. Now, if you want to get crazy with it, you can go down, probably touch your bottom and get it down on the shoulder, and that's what we call a slam dunk. But you have to work fast and get your hands away from it. This young man here did this, isn't that beautiful?
That is perfect.
Yeah, that was very good,
That's
that one.
professional. I recognise that one.
You're hired.
So, dip out like that. That do?
Oh, that's perfect.
Yep.
Okay, all right, let's
Right.
give it a shot.
Go for it.
Concentrate. See, there's no one else here.
Roll it fast. Set it down. Okay, get your hands
All right.
back. I'm going to jostle a little bit for the pictures. Okay, now don't touch it because it's really too hot. Okay?
Yeah.
But stand aside, throw those thumbs up, look like a winner there.
Yay!
You got your slam dunk. Is that an Australian?
That's a number one list when they win NASCAR races.
Oh, okay.
They go, I won the rotor race.
Did you go to NASCAR while you were there?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
We went to Richmond, Virginia and Atlanta, Georgia.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you're Australian?
Yeah. Yeah.
You live here? Or you just
Nope.
Oh, great.
Well, just like Jack Daniels, they've got their own old fire engine. Theirs is an REO Speedwagon. This one's a Bickle. But very much similar eras. Mid to late 1920s. There might be plenty of Aussies at the bourbon distilleries, but not too many Aussie tourists here at KFC Buffet in Lebanon, Kentucky. You're more hungry than you thought. Yeah, right. 1:45.
1:45 crept up on me pretty quick.
KFC buffet.
What else you do when you're in Kentucky? Gee, we've driven past some wonderful Victorian type structures.
That's pretty.
And it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful here. And as neat as a pin. Okay, this is the distillery Four Roses. This is not a brand that's available in Australia, but I used to drink it in Europe. Not with him though, heathen. We used to drink it in Europe because along with Jim Beam and Jack Daniels, they were the only bourbons, not that Jack Daniels is a bourbon, I know, available. So we used to drink it a lot over there. So it has a sentimental value, the good old Four Roses.
Oh, wow.
You're not tall enough. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
What an aroma that is.
Yeah.
Genuine Kentucky sour mash.
Yeah, it is.
That's where the sour mash terminology comes from. When it's fermenting.
Alcohol contents always have what proof is. You're going to go up each time with that alcohol content. Each bourbon is smooth and mellow, but has its own characteristics. Small batch 90 proof is going to be rich, creamy, and spicy. Taste with this will be of ripened red berries. So whenever you're ready.
That's the 80 proof, the one I used to drink in Europe.
Bring it over, I can get rid of the proof bourbon. This one will have a real fruity floral aroma with it. Taste with this will be again a ripe plums and cherries.
How long? Thank you.
Thank you folks again, all of you for
That's a pretty cool bar.
Yes, ma'am.
I want one. And you do too.
Here we are, once again, gathered all together, wondering what it's all about. And I can't tell you because I don't know myself, but I do know that it's a very, very big thing.
Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. We've moved up to the north. We're not very far from Four Roses, but we've come about 40 miles north of ish, about from Maker's Mark. That's City Hall.
City Hall there.
No prizes for guessing where we are, Riggs. I think this thing, squeeze it or something, see what happens. Alright, that'll about do, I reckon. I regret even showing you, okay?
What?
I regret having shown you.
Drink more bourbon is what he's saying. Drink lots more bourbon.
It says America's Finest Foods.
Oh, those were your sunglasses. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I got in the way.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Here we go. That's what you use to kill the turkeys?
Yeah. That's how you get them into the bottle.
That's how you get them in the bottle.
Now this one here is at the peak of fermentation, okay? This would be a day 2. They're not agitating this, they're not stirring this. This is all just a natural process. If you breathe that in very deep, you're gonna, yes, you'll get woozy.
I'm not sure what they're doing in there. It says sensory lab, but lots of bottles lined up.
That piqued your interest?
Well, yeah, you know, well, something here looks like it measures specific gravity of some sort. Water filtration. I did notice a bottle of Sky vodka back there.
Oh yeah.
Look at all of Grandma's cough medicine lined up back there.
Y'all know what white dog is in Australia?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's the same as it is here, right? It's before it goes in the barrel. You can drink it, but you'd rather drink it when it comes out of the barrel.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Well, that's we're going over a big ass bridge. There's one on the right there. That's the rail bridge over the river. Fantastic view. On the left here is the Wild Turkey Distillery.
It's the Kentucky River.
And that's the Kentucky River. It's
It should be.
Jeffrey's American Gypsy confirms. We're looking for Woodford, but we doubt we'll get there in time, but we'll just give it a shot. We think we're on the 62, heading the right direction.
Here we go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers to you.
We made it to the Woodford Reserve. Cheers.
Broke every speed limit along the way to do so. We had to leave Wild Turkey without the taste test. Now what's that like?
Very nice. Got the caramel notes.
In all honesty, Jeff here told us that Woodford was his favourite. Australia. The Woodfords was his favourite, so.
That's wonderful.
We saved the best for
We
last.
did.
Gentlemen, we saved the best for last.
Like the way he thinks.
Oh, so it's just the one. Right.
Yeah, it's only. Yeah.
It's for 7 to 9 years.
That's nice.
So you're doing the trail, huh?
We just
Done the
finished.
trail.
Finished.
Like I said, we saved the best for last.
Oh, we did indeed.
And I drove the last section like a tarmac rally to get in here. They said, keep the shot glass, keep going. Nice.
Go ahead and close.
So this is
$45 for a litre. It's about way under half what you'd pay for it in Australia. Way under.
oh yeah.
Well, it was worth it. Very good. Just plonked the blue pig right out the front, jumped out and We were well received.
Y'all have a safe trip.
Thank you very much.
If you stand up on the wall, we'll be able to get the Woodford Reserve.
Okay. It's 10 minutes past 5 in the PM, obviously. And it's a stunning late afternoon here in Versailles, or Versailles as they call it, Kentucky. And the distillery itself and some of the warehouses are right down in a valley. And we're just noting how that these are the only warehouses we've seen that are actually made of stone.
Oh yeah, we're pretty much in, just outside of Lexington, which puts us in the heart of Kentucky bluegrass horse country. Horses over there.
Very nice.
Oh yeah.
Woodford Thoroughbreds is the name of this
particular.
What I was going to say stud, but
horse farm.
Horse farm. That's a good way to put it.
Gentleman's farm. That's another favorite nomenclature.
And there's some horses. And there's a working area there on the left where that's a racehorse thoroughbred training centre. It's a little racetrack with some gates, full-on proper gates, I might add. Look at that. See pretty good through there. We're coming up to the junction of the 60, which is just to the west, about 6 or 7 miles west of Versailles, as I would call it. And the locals spell it literally, pronounce it literally Versailles. Is that right, Riggs?
Yep.
Well, we've made our way back to Louisville, and we're negotiating our way through because we can't get on I-65 north from the I-64. So we're just picking our way through. Shut the road. So back in Louisville, home of the Kentucky Derby. Louisville. So look at the Ohio, looks good. So it's Louisville. All these cars around here, all Indiana plates. We're all stuck in the vortex that is Louisville. Jeff Riggs reckons.
We just want to know how the hell we get to Indiana without getting wet.
It's just there. That's Indiana on the other side of the river.
Oh, we're going round and round on detours.
Thank God. Back home again. Indiana. That means we're going, at the moment, we're doing good. All we need now is another horrendous traffic jam. Goodbye, Louisville, and good luck. And we did it. We did the Bourbon Trail.
We did. We've got our passports.
Right here is here's
Really?
the proof.
We've got our official. We've got our official.
There's the official. Everyone is stamped.
That's great. We're gonna put that in the fridge.
Yeah, Beam, Kevin Hill, 4 Roses, Maker's Mark, Wild Turkey, Woodford Reserve. Congratulations.
I'm impressed.
Bit of a round of applause.
We did it.
And Barbara's turned into a bourbon fan.
Really?
Woohoo!
I know which ones I like now. Okay.
Okay, until our next adventure, ciao for now.
Okay.
To put an absolute full stop on our bourbon tour, before we retire, we're having the special Riggs label condiments receptacle. So it's been a long 2 days. How can you get condiment out of receptacle? And of course it's got the Jeff Riggs family seal.
Yes.
And this is Knob Creek.
Yeah, we're having a Knob Creek. My personal favorite.
It's a Jim Beam.
Here, enjoy it with me.
I know to listen to, so I don't know the names of all the classics and stuff, and I don't listen to it much. Really? But I knew it from, I'll tell you where I probably
Breakfast of Champions.
was when
Excellent.
I told you my
Excellent.
my best friend.
Drink up, my friend.
She
Will do, Jeff. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.